Well, something big in social media happened with Chrystia Freeland, but it's not really what you think. And this video isn't what you think either, but stick around because we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Usually on this channel, when we're doing videos, I'm giving my opinions. Today is a little bit different. Today I'm asking for your opinion. That's right. I'm looking for what you guys think, whether you're a longtime viewer, whether you're just coming in for the first time, whether you're stumbling in because the algorithm somehow put this video on your timeline. I want to know what you guys think because there is a lot of controversy out there when it comes to how people in social media interact with others or make their living, so to speak, in this hobby. I will never call this a job, although a lot of work does go into it, and it essentially results in some form of payment at the end of the day. And some drama that we're not going to get into the actual drama end of it today has rocked the social media world in terms of Chrystia Freeland. And I kind of wanted to get everybody's take on this. I wanted to understand people's opinions because often I'm puzzled in the social media realm to see that anytime somebody has success on a platform, anytime somebody is out there promoting something or other, they're suddenly labeled a grifter or a shill. And well, in this case, things have gotten a little dicey. Now, before I get into what's going on, we're going to bring on the Pleb a little bit later to talk about his thoughts on the subject. And boy, does he have some great takes. But I want to get into this by saying, while this is drama, essentially drama that has exploded on the internet, I try to stay in good relationships with people most of the time. So I have had my upsets, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's perfect, or nobody's nerfect, as they say. But I want to make it very clear that I'm not picking sides in this battle, that I'm not choosing a winner or a horse in this race. I'm merely asking the question by showing the evidence that's being presented forward, where people's ideologies for the future of Canada is, because it's quite alarming that similar thinking people can be so off base at the end of the day. If you follow social media at all and know of somebody by the name of Cat Canada, she's got a prominent Twitter account. She's at a conference this week called Canada Strong and Free Networking Conference that has the likes of Pierre Poilievre as well as Stephen Harper, amongst others, showing up. Now, Cat Canada has roughly 103,000 followers on the Twitter platform, myself included. Now, I've followed Cat for quite some time. She is a social media handler, I guess you could say, or a consultant. Now, she helps with social media platforms. I know she works alongside Cian Bexty at the Counter Signal, managing their Facebook accounts in terms of social media, and she's built herself quite a following. Now, the debate on Twitter followers is always up there, and again, I would agree because I have roughly 13,000 followers on Twitter, and anytime I post, it gets very little engagement because a vast majority of those people either aren't on the platform anymore or they're bots. So when you have 103,000 followers, it really doesn't accumulate to as much as people think it does. And that's not to slam Cat Canada, but by merely saying that Twitter is just a different space from YouTube. I typically go to Twitter to find news stories and whatnot or get people's opinions, but it's a very toxic place. Now, of course, Cat Canada was on her flight on the way to this conference where she posts a joke tweet saying, "Look who I ran into. Chrystia Freeland told me the Liberals are looking for social media influencers to get the message out. Should I apply?" Now, if anybody understands a misunderstood joke, I'll look no further than this channel because I've had my share, including one recently. But let's take a look at what Cat posted. And is it all that bad?
I just landed in Ottawa. Look who I ran into. Can you wave to my followers on Twitter?
Sure. Hi.
Thank
She says, "Can you wave to my followers on Twitter?" And the joke of that being that she doesn't know who Cat Canada is. Cat, while she does have 100,000 Twitter followers, Chrystia Freeland has no idea who she is, which is what makes it funny. Because Cat Canada posts for the right-wing conservatives for the majority of the time. She's gone to multiple Pierre Poilievre rallies and taken photos with him, with Jordan Peterson, with Tucker Carlson. She's been around. She posted this yesterday on social media on her way to this conference, and things just exploded on the internet. Again, I'm not judging. I'm merely putting perspective on this because this is where I ask my question of my audience. Where does the line get drawn and what are we supposed to do moving forward? Here's a post from Unacceptable Canadian Girl. Completely hypothetical situation. If you were sitting next to Freeland on a plane, would you use the opportunity to take a selfie/video for likes, or would you tell her what you thought about the state of Canada? 2 options. Tell her what I think, or I'm a grifter. That is a terrible, terrible poll. Those are terrible options. You either agree with me or you're wrong. That's what this poll is suggesting. It's a terrible outlook, and it's no different than those of Justin Trudeau, who says, think like me or I'm going to make your life more difficult. When you give opinions like this, we're all supposed to be in the same boat. We all want rid of Justin Trudeau. And when you're told you're a shill for plugging Pierre Poilievre simply because you're fed up with the landscape and you want change, you want common sense. I don't think Pierre's perfect. I've met the guy. I've had conversations with him. I've shook his hand and taken photos with him. I personally am going to give him my vote. But I've also called him out on this channel. I've called conservatives out on this channel when they've made mistakes, because you have to be unbiased if you're going to give people an accurate representation of the landscape. This was a level of the freakout. People are now accusing Kat of being paid by the Liberals and setting up that video, that video was a setup in order to get a free shot with Freeland. Listen, I've worked with Kat. I don't think that that's the case. I don't see how that's the case, but even guys like Rob Primo, again, I follow Rob. I agree with him. He's a friend of the channel, but I disagree. I politely disagree with this tweet. Honest question, looking for an honest answer. Well, I'm about to give you one, Rob. If you were sitting on an airplane next to Chrystia Freeland and a few hundred Canadian witnesses that could witness what you were doing, what would you do? I would have waited until the plane was in the air. Therefore, there's no coming back. I would have turned my camera on my phone and politely asked her every question that I had, especially if I was female. What they could have possibly done, what could they have possibly done to Cat Canada? She was in the perfect place at the perfect time. This is all about Con Inc. and replacing the old with the new. This is where I get a little pushed back by these opinions, because this comes across as a PPC bro kind of opinion. And again, I'm not trying to be out of place by saying that. I'm not trying to place a drama. It's the attitude I'm more worried about, because people like this that have these kind of statements, and I'm not putting Rob in a box. Let's make that clear. But typically when I see these statements, people are saying, well, Pierre's not the answer. So what is? You often hear the Diagolon guys say the same thing. Oh, none of these guys are good. None of these. So what is the solution? Do we burn down the country? Do we overtake Parliament? Like, none of those ideas would come to fruition, and they're too radical for the right situation. So I don't understand what is expected of Kat here. Now, Kat stated, I don't want to be put on a no-fly list. I would have been ripped off the plane as soon as we landed. Police would have arrested me. Her bank accounts would have been frozen. This woman's got to look after herself. She's not going to flip out on an airplane. Rob states again, holy F, could you imagine the opportunity to ask questions? Mind-boggling. This is like Americanized hanging out with Marco Mendicino and taking pictures. What's next? Are you going to tell me the pleb feeds the machine too? These characters are hilarious. Somebody make them some hockey cards to sell. Again, it comes across like you're upset that some people have made a living on social media. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's sitting next to Chrystia Freeland. Now, I'm not advocating for Chrystia Freeland by any means necessary. I am not advocating for Chrystia Freeland, but abusing somebody on an airplane, where is that going to get us as a country? Where is that going to help? If you wanted to put it on sides, our side, their side, how does this help our side? We're all in this together. We all want rid of Trudeau. If she would have flipped out on Chrystia Freeland, all this would have done was generated more support for online censorship, for the persecution of anybody who goes online to talk against the government, that we're radicalists, we're that small fringe minority that Justin Trudeau talks about. I just don't understand the solution. And maybe at some point I'll get an answer out of Rob Primo as to why that opinion was taken. Again, I'm not faulting anybody for having their opinions. I'm merely pointing out, if this is your stance, what's the solution? Aside from behaving like a Neanderthal, I really don't understand. Even Legally Purdy having what I felt is an honest question, but I'll give an honest answer. Now, I invited her to come onto this video as well. It says, I'm blown away by the brilliance of my ex-family. One of you raised a thought-provoking question. How is Cat Canada sitting beside Freeland while David Menzies got arrested? It's puzzling to trust the narrative here. Why the absence of the RCMP officers now when they were there for David? Are we off base for questioning this, Ezra Levant? Yes, you're very off base. I can tell you, the joke again, Chrystia Freeland doesn't know who Cat Canada is. David Menzies has a reputation in the journalist community. People know who David Menzies is. If Cat Canada was standing outside the House of Commons every single day with a microphone waiting to talk to MPs and government officials, they would know darn well who Cat Canada is as well. Comparing the two of those together is apples and oranges. So that's why this happens. Now, of course, I don't want people to just take my word for it. Again, this is an opinion piece. I want to know your opinions because now it's coming out, well, Cat gets paid. Cat is a shill. Cat is being paid by the Liberals as a sleeper agent. Like all these crazy claims are coming out. And it seems like as soon as you get to a point where you're making money on a social media platform, you're suddenly the villain. You're the bad guy. You're a shill. You're a grifter. You're a terrible person. I've often said when it comes to other channels, whether it's Clinton Jaws, whether it's Mr. Sunshine Baby, whether it's the Pleb, Moose on the Loose, Northern Perspective, you name them, Street Politics Canada, we're all in the same boat together. We're all on the same team. We're trying to get the message out. I have been put in a very blessed situation that people come to this channel on a daily basis to hear what I have to say, to take into account what I have to say. Don't think about just what I have to say. So joining me right now, let's not talk any further. Let's bring in a special guest on the show, the Pleb. The Pleb, back from his holidays, did a wonderful stream on the tractor convoy, I guess you could call it.
Did you enjoy
yesterday.
that?
It was fantastic, man. That was great. I couldn't believe how many trucks were there.
It was incredible. The turnout was massive. But the one challenge for me as a streamer during that event was that it was happening in my home province of Quebec near Montreal, and all the speakers were in French, and like I have a primarily English audience, so trying to entertain people for 2 hours straight while they don't understand what's being said behind was a challenge, but we got it done.
Right. Now, real quick, because I want to stay on the topic of this video, but I'm just curious because I'd seen video of Quebec police removing people from the main highway in Quebec. Was there any kind of police action with the tractors yesterday?
No, the police were surprisingly chill. There was maybe like 4 cop cars, and there was over 100 tractors easily, and pickup trucks and flags and a stage, and there was only 4 police over there. It was honestly very chill.
Nice, nice, good. Well, let's stay on topic. Let's stay at the topic of hand. I've been asking my audience a lot in this video about the perception that people get about YouTubers or content creators in general, whether it's Twitter, whether it's any online platform, Instagram, as to how they make their living. And I don't necessarily see the problem in making a living because it takes time to build up a social media account. And of course, you know more than anybody else about that with building up a Twitter account successfully and then migrating over to YouTube. So now that you're in a position of success, and by the way, congratulations, you just received your plaque. I seen that on social media earlier today. Yeah. There it is, right in the background, ladies and gents. Hard work pays off. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to get your perception when
that's a conservative value for the record. This right here, to all you leftists, this is not a participation trophy. I actually earned this with my hard work, something the left doesn't understand. But yes, blood, sweat, and tears, lots of hours, lots of giving up my own personal time and having no life got me here. So a lot of sacrifices are made, but I'm happy to finally be here.
Right. So part of the reason you just went on holiday and something that you've mentioned in other live streams that you've joined us on while on holiday is that you were working for a boss, you were working for a company, and you were in a very generous position with YouTube in order to essentially work for yourself. Now, a lot of people would call that, again, in this industry, being a shill or a grifter because you're championing Pierre Poilievre. I don't understand why people wanting change is such a bad thing. But I mean, how do you define making a business out of things while people are skeptical of how you make your living?
I mean, I make videos every single day on YouTube. I hear conspiracies all the time. Oh, plebs paid by the Conservative Party, plebs paid by this, plebs paid by that. No, I just make YouTube videos. I've always liked to entertain people and make people laugh. And, I'm not a scholar. I'm not I never studied political science. I'm here to entertain people and have a good time and try to get people through these dark times in Canada and just offer honestly, my blue collar spin on the news. I talk on my channel the way I would talk to guys on the job sites about politics. It's not too refined. There's no fancy words. This is just how hardworking Canadians talk to each other. And this is the way I talk to my audience.
Absolutely. It's funny because I've always said that folks like us are very blessed to be in this position, that people essentially want to hear what we have to say, and that we're able to get the news out at a time when we're being heavily censored and shut down. And I think that by cheering on the best option for Canadians moving forward via somebody like Pierre Poilievre isn't necessarily shilling, but so much fed up with the current landscape and wanting change, because 8 years of being beat down and having the government's foot on your neck, essentially, who wants that? Who wants another who wants another couple of years of that, right? So I guess I'm trying to get a perspective as to where the line gets drawn between shill versus content creator.
Okay, well, I like Pierre. I call him out on my channel occasionally when he screws things up. I'm not just a shill is someone who never criticizes. I'm not a shill. I'm just a guy. I'm a conservative value man. The way Pierre speaks, it speaks to me. I believe in hard work. I believe in less government. I believe in more freedom. These are values that we share. And that's why I like talking about Pierre. But it also comes from a place where I really don't like Justin Trudeau. I have a serious beef with Justin Trudeau. When I was at the convoy and I watched the way he described these protesters as racist and misogynist and subhumans and these completely crazy extremists, a fire lit up inside of me. And I said I would use whatever talents I had to try to make sure this guy doesn't win the next election. And I guess one of my ways this is activism, essentially. And one of my ways of doing activism is through comedy. I didn't go to political science and didn't study political science at universities. I'm not super deeply book read. I'm just a regular guy who just offers his opinions and tries to point out the absurdities of politics. And to be honest with you, Mr. Fringe, I can't even believe people watch my videos, okay? It shocks me every single day. I suffer from huge imposter syndrome. What is this guy doing talking politics with all these people who, have published books, who are super well educated? And then you have a guy like me who is the opposite. I wouldn't call myself stupid, but I'm not I don't have a university degree. I'm not super well read, but I think I have enough social intelligence to be able to point out the insanity within the politics and how ridiculous these people are. That's where my talent lies. And like I said, it still shocks me people watch my takes on politics. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you're definitely in the right spot, because you're one of those overall workers that knows the real heartbeat of this nation.
Yes, I'm one of those people. Line up at Tim Hortons 5:30 in the morning, order the same thing for years straight, every morning at Tim Hortons. Go to work, come home. And another thing with my YouTube channel is this was a side gig at the start. It wasn't a full-time job. I didn't just say, oh, I'm going to jump right into this. I was working, I had YouTube, there was two things going on. And I sacrificed a lot. You wake up at 5 in the morning, you get home 3:30, you make a video. You're working on that video till 7 o'clock at night. You're not having dinner till 7:30 p.m. and you worked essentially at 14. I had to do that for months and months and months to get where the channel is, and the hard work paid off. And I'm grateful. It's like a dream come true, essentially.
Absolutely. I've always said the same thing, that it's very heartwarming to know that people come to this channel, come to your channel, all channels every day, whether it's our channels, Northern Perspectives, Sunshine, any of the guys who are on YouTube, to hear what people have to say. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to get rid of Justin Trudeau. We're all in the same boat. And that's where I don't understand why a lot of people that have similar views just can't find a way to get along. But thank you for sharing some perspective on this, Pleb. And as always, it's great to have you in the channel. Well, there you have it. There's an opinion from the Pleb, ladies and gentlemen. Now, please do me a favor. I know it's a lengthy video, and I do apologize. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of what's going on. Where's the line in the sand? When are you considered a shill? And is it okay to make a living online? Now, again, if you followed my live streams, I've often said, you don't have to super chat. You don't have to become members. Every bit helps. I'm not going to turn it down, but I certainly don't encourage it. Because at the end of the day, if you support videos like this, $1 billion corporation like Google pays my wages for making these videos out of support. That pays for my time. That pays for the equipment that I buy for this channel. That pays for my ability to keep making content and researching content to put on this channel. And at the end of the day, I really don't see the problem with finding financial success in the time that it takes to build a social media platform, and why, if you're neutral when around people you disagree with, you're suddenly labeled a martyr for the cause. I think that Kat handled herself brilliantly. That's my personal opinion. Again, I'm not going to get involved in the drama of it. I have no horse in the race when it comes to anything on that front. However, again, I would encourage everybody on this side of the spectrum, everybody who wants to get rid of Justin Trudeau, let's take it down a notch. Let's focus and keep our eyes on the prize. We are less than a year and a half away from removing this clown from office. And if we give in, if we get violent, if we scream and shout, it's only going to get worse for us. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, I apologize it's long, but I really want to be very concise with this and understand where people stand on a platform. It's more because I find it interesting. This isn't a pity video. It's not anything more than I find it interesting to talk about. So give me your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, I certainly hope this video, while kind of drama-ish, earns your subscription. As you're clicking that button, make sure to turn on your bell for notifications. Join us live here on the channel tomorrow night and every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central for Friday Night Fringe, where we talk about everything that's happened this week, everything coming up in the weeks ahead, and a little bit of back and forth with the community. I look forward to talking with each and every one of you there. In fact, it's the highlight of my week. I look forward to it again, and hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.